What's going on Facebook and YouTube? Scarlet Impaler here to do a quick stream tonight. It's not going to be anything big. I thought I wasn't going to stream. I didn't really have a lot of time tonight because I was doing other things with 3D printers, trying to get things worked and whatnot. The Fury Star Killer stream will be finished tomorrow at some time, early afternoon. Before the evening starts, and I will do the Saber of the Week, which is going to be a Rom Coat Nano Biscotti build. And that's still going to happen at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm here today to address a issue that I've personally been privy of, and that I see a lot all over. A lot of people wonder why there's so much hatred for Saberforge, so much salt for Saberforge out there, and I'm here to do a bit of a hands-on to show that it's more than actually justified. If we just want to take out the biases for any sort of business practices they do, this is a hands-on of why their electronics are just straight horrible. And this is one of their finest sabers that they released. This is their Monarch, which is their the Force Unleashed 1 Star Killer lightsaber, and we're going to go into real fast of why this is one of the biggest pieces of junk out there. The hilt itself is mostly fine. I mean, it is fairly accurate. It could be weathered more. This could be like a dark gold or dark copper. The switches could be elsewhere. The recharge port hole could be elsewhere. But it's still generally not a bad hilt. My big problem, though, is that they super glued these threads in to remove the body here. So it's going to take me a whole lot of strength to get this off, and it's actually stuck here right now. I actually stopped trying to get it off because I was afraid I was actually going to break the metal of it. That's how tough they put it on for whatever reason. So the reason why I opened it up, because they put a Spock 2 board, a Spock 2 color board in it, which is a fine board. I used them before, but it just wasn't as loud as my other sabers, and I was also interested of how I would have got the SD card out so I could change my own sound fonts. So I go and remove the pommel, and then I get this thing, this PVC cut down pipe thing right there. So okay, I go and pull it out. I pull it out, it rips this black part. You see that black part that looks like the front of a speaker? Right from the actual speaker itself. This speaker is now screwed. And then trying to get the rest of the internals out was a complete pain of trying to cut out the switches, which will glue it in and not screw it in, cut out the recharge port, and then trying to force all the internals out using some extra blade tube, and it was in there extremely well, and I still don't understand why, because it came out like this. The battery was strapped in with electrical tape and Velcro. No, it's not removable, but it's strapped in like this. There was no budging, and with Velcro and electrical tape on all the sides. This thing wasn't coming out. I couldn't, even if the speaker part didn't break, I couldn't get this out because this was so far deep inside the body that if I had to get to the SD card, which is this slot right here, it was this deep into it. So even if I removed, if this came out properly without ripping, it'd only be hanging out so much, and I would have to get some extreme needle nose pliers to actually get to the SD card and pull it out. Which defeats the whole defeats one of the big purposes of having a soundboard that you could color change and change the fonts, is by actually being able to do it outside the stock settings. So there's literally no point of almost using a Spark 2 color if you couldn't get to the SD card. The crystal chamber, it was nice. I'll give it that. It was fairly nice, but I think we could get brighter. I mean, then again, this came out before the. In all fairness, did come out before any NEC started to release RGB LEDs and RGB accent LED kits for their boards that came with proper resistors and whatnot and proper wiring diagrams. So it could be brighter, but I'm not going to hold that against them. Outside that, these should also be brass themselves. These tubes, if you will. And then look at the soundboard as is. Velcro right over it. More Velcro, electrical tape all over the place, like... Seriously, like, what were they, like, to quote the angry video game nerd, it's like, seriously, what were they thinking with it? That gave no breathing space for this battery, or the soundboard, so when the battery heats up, which it will heat up because it's supplying a lot of power to the LEDs, it was right there on the board. So, and has someone who, and note that I've only been in the Saber community for over a year, and only for a year and a month, a bit more. I got my first custom saber from Ultrasabers mid-January last year, late January, and the since then I've started to do my own wiring. I've learned a lot since then, and I gotta say, this is just no way to actually do things, to wire up a system like this, to put the battery with, by not having any sort of removable, or having it right next to the soundboard with no breathing room or whatnot, making it tightly in here so you have to use a hammer or extreme force to get the sound card out, or get anything out to repair it. Then you have to do some insane, you have to pray to all the gods that you don't rip out the speaker just trying to get to the SD card to change the sound fonts. So, if you're wondering why there's so much Saberforge hate out there, this video should tell you why, because this is just, the way they do things, it's just, it's bad, you know. It's just not good, and this is also just coming from someone who's just only been doing this for a little over a year, and I think it's bad. This is why people tell you, you see a lot of people tell you just, oh hey, just buy the externals and get someone else to do the to do the electronics for you, and that's perfectly fair, because these guys really don't know it. And to be honest, and in all honesty too, is that this Monarch with the Spark Color 2 soundboard and whatnot runs $600 with what, like a 12-13 week wait time, and you get this. You get this. You spend that much money on a Vader's Vault with full RGB, and yeah, my Rev N was came out to about a little under 600. Full RGB. I waited a bit longer than 3 months, but I got something much better than this. The electronics was so much better, and everything was like nice and loud and whatnot, and this is why people don't like it. And this is not even going into the business practices, their politics, the stuff they've done, stuff that people have accused them to done, stuff that's have official court documents online and whatnot. This is not about that. This is just about how they handle the electronics. And me, I know I sometimes do some shicey stuff, just to get things finished or whatnot, and stuff I probably shouldn't do, practice what you preach. But this is really just terrible, just straight terrible. And yeah, that's really about it. This is just straight terrible. So this is why there's so much hate, so much salt for them, and it's all rather really just justified. And you know, this is from I'm trying to have a real unbiased view on this. But again, I've been doing installs. Hell, you've seen me do a bunch of NEC boards. You know, I've done the igniter part of my DV6 stream. I've been doing Spark 2s on my mock Star Killers, which I will probably finish tomorrow. And you know, I've created my own custom chassis and whatnot. So I think I have some sort of say in it, and I'm still trying to be unbiased. Where did that upper come from? But yeah, that's all I got to say for this. And that said, again, I'll finish the Fury Star Killers tomorrow. I got some cool things going on with that. I'm going to show off how I do the leather wrap-ins, which I would use actual leather for. And then later on that night at the normal scheduled time of 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, I will do my Saber of the Week build, which will be the a mysterious Ramkota hilt with Nano Biscotti soundboard and Photon blade, and it's going to be great. So I hope you guys catch me there, and I hope you catch the stream. And if you like this on YouTube and whatnot, click the subscribe button down below. It really helps. And have you guys a great night, and may the Force be with you.